All right, guys. Well, I'm back. Happy 2021, and I hope everyone had a great new year and got rid of the 2020 negativity. So, 2021's here, and it's my first video that I'm making of the year. I actually feel like I kind of slacked at the end. Remember, I kind of well, if you watched my previous videos, you'll seen that I kind of jumped out, got two of them out of the gate right away when I set up this podcast room, but I didn't necessarily stay on the grind. That's the hardest thing about making videos is actually staying on the grind and actually doing it. So, really, what I wanted to talk about on this video was, please, obviously, subscribe, hit the like button, but maybe go back and watch my other couple videos. At least the one that's like 2 videos ago kind of explains how um, Gary V changed my life. But I wanted to kind of explain. So, in 2020, how did I start my own media company, my own business in the midst of a pandemic? Like, what did I do? What were the things I executed to get to where I'm at? So I just thought I'd kind of share that with you guys. So basically, like I said, if you watch my last video, you'll kind of get a background of like how I got started a little bit. But just to kind of go over it again, it's been about a couple years now. I have always sold cars before, so I had a long career in sales. I sold cars for 19 years, and I was very successful at it. But I was burnt out. I just didn't enjoy doing it no more. What I didn't enjoy the most was, sounds kind of sad, but I didn't enjoy having a job. Like getting up in the morning, having to be somewhere at a certain time, having to stay in that building all day and leave at a certain time. It just was eating at me. It was driving me nuts, especially when you see successful people around you that are entrepreneurs and they've like made things happen for themselves. I kind of like, I had that hunger for like just wanting to be my own boss or do my own thing. So that's how I kind of got this started. So a couple of years ago, I was on a phone with a friend and he was like, I got to get a business card made. Do you know where I can get one made? He wasn't asking me to do it. I didn't do that. I sold cars, but he just kind of it was just general chit chat. I was like, I don't know. Order one. I'm sure there's business card places online, or go to a company and have a business card made. And so anyway, that was kind of like end of the conversation. We hung up. And when we hung up, I don't know what made me think about it. I didn't say I would make a business card. I didn't say that I'd do anything for him. I just kind of was like, I just jumped on my computer. Actually, at the time, I think it was my iPad. And I just like started playing around on a couple different programs and I just created up this business card. Like it just kind of came like really like natural to me to like have that creation. I've always kind of been good at, um, creating stuff like, post on Facebook or whatever, just arranging things to look correctly. So I went online, I jumped on Google Images, looked at a whole bunch of different business cards, pulled out my business card that I had, for car sales, other business cards that were laying around the house, just kind of studied them, the layout, went on Google, YouTube, of course, looked up what are the right correct sizes to make a business card in. And that was it, man. I just jumped on my iPad. It took me a couple days to like nail down what I thought was a good business card. And then I sent my buddy a text and I sent him a picture of it. And he responded back and he goes, "Oh my God, where'd you get this at?" And I go, "I made it." He's like, "You made it? What do you mean you made it?" I go, "I made it." And he's like, "This is awesome. This is exactly what I'm looking for." And that's where this business started from. And that was like 2 years ago. So throughout that time, I ran into a couple other people that, maybe needed a business card or I'd asked somebody, "Hey, you need a new business card made?" Whatever. I just kind of like kept my feelers out there and like kept like talking to people. And the crazy thing about it was I didn't charge anybody like one penny. I didn't ask for any money back. I just like would make stuff for free. But I like had a bunch of fun doing it. I was like, man, this is a blast. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the programs. I enjoyed messing around on the computer and creating it. It was just really fun to me. So I like sparked this little passion in wanting to do like graphic style arts or just things of that manner, like things of what I consider a media or a marketing company to execute. Uh, 4 years ago, like when I started this YouTube channel, I kind of wanted to get into like film and photography and video. It started to just kind of like turn into a little bit of passion of something that I was really interested in. So during the pandemic, obviously it hits and I get laid off at the car sales job and I head home. And by then I had like maybe like one or two like little clients I would like make a flyer for or something like that that actually like paid me a little bit of money, but I was still doing stuff for free. Like is I just did as much free work as I really could. I didn't If someone needed something done, I didn't charge anybody anything. I just said, "Hey, I'll do it for you." And I always kind of felt like, can I charge somebody something that I'm not, I didn't go to college for any of this stuff. I didn't go to college for graphic art or website development, none of it. I just literally jump on YouTube and learn how to do it. Um, I think that's what a lot of us do now. We go on YouTube and figure out how to do it. So that's just kind of how this started. So what did I do in 2020 to actually like start up this company? The very first thing that made me get this company going, you'll hear me say it in probably all my videos, was consuming Gary V on YouTube. I just would consume his content. Like, I mean, you guys, massive amounts. You know that he has tons of videos available to watch on YouTube. And I just started consuming it and consuming it and consuming it and studying it and studying it. And it was really weird for a while. I like wasn't completely acting on his advice, more or less was I just consuming it. And I just kind of hit this point. So I'm laid off for like a week now and just consumed massive amounts of Gary Vee. And I knew that I had like a couple little customers that I would, did a couple things for. So I just was like, you want to know what, man? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna start my own company. Right. So it's kind of funny. I told my wife, I go, listen, I'm not gonna go back to work. I don't think I'm gonna. She's like, what do you mean you're not going back to work? I go, I'm gonna start my own company. And she's like, doing what? And she looked at me like, doing what? Like, and I said, I'm gonna start a media company. Doing like, graphic art, website development, all that stuff. And she's like, okay, then sound like the best ideas. I just remember her reaction. She's like, so what are you gonna do? Like, for like an income? I was like, well, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. And I made a decent amount of money selling cars, so it definitely wasn't going to be jumping into this game and making more money than I was already making. So it was really a huge risk. But at that point, I was completely laid off, so I wasn't really making anything except for I had like filed for unemployment. Fucking took me like 15 weeks before I actually even received it because it was a big disaster. But I just started hustling it up, man. I contacted a couple people. It was like, hey, listen, I see you got this business going. Like, do you want to get a website built? And I had started building websites like a year before that. I built a couple. I started on Shopify. Shopify was the first platform that I built websites on. I went on there and just started messing around, you guys. Like, literally everything I've done has been trial and error to get to where I'm at. So what I did was I just stayed very persistent on trying to practice my skills, learn more stuff, learn more about building websites, understanding how things are put together. And I literally kept like studying and studying and studying different things until I would just catch on and learn it. So one of the things that I do in my company is I run, people's Facebook pages, or I help them set up Facebook pages, help them create content for things to post on their business page. And what I would do is I would just consume so much social media. I know that a lot of probably every single person looking at this video or watching this video right now, you probably consume massive amounts of social media. It's kind of like all we do, we're on our phone, Facebook, right? But what I started to notice was I wasn't just consuming social media because I was like bored or sitting around on the couch. I would like actually like watch people's posts, and then I'd study out that post. Like, how many views did this post get? And then I would look at what they post according to like what comments would come back. So like, what do people say that spark conversation, spark, I want to say like controversy, or spark positive talk, spark negative talk. I just kept studying it, you guys, and studying it and studying it and watching it. And from that point, I had this logo that's behind me. I kind of had it like half made. It was Critical Imaging because when I started this YouTube channel 4 years ago, I wanted an entrepreneur and I was going to start doing real estate photography. And it was just something that I was like, oh yeah, that's, I've always kind of been one of those persons that comes with an idea and then I don't follow through. That's been like a big past problem in my life. So I'm 43 years old and I've done so many different things. Back to like in my last video, I said, I remember, getting a model as a little kid. I'd come home, pull the model out, get the glue out, start building the car or the boat or whatever it was. I'd get like a quarter way through it, and then throw it in my closet, and that was it. Never pulled it back out again. Just like an unfinished project. So I just made sure that I made a commitment to myself that, like, listen, you got to follow through with what you're going to do, and you have to do it. So I have a client right now, a customer, which is a really good friend. They are social media influencers. They're adult film stars, and they have a company called Sparks Go Wild. So I'll link them in the page. You can kind of check them out. So throughout this time from that first business card I made, I would always call them, and because I'd watch the things that they posted, and I just would basically be like, listen, try this or try that, try this or try that. And they were in trial and error. They wanted to be social media people, but they didn't necessarily know, every little trick of the trade, which I don't either, but I at least studied enough social media content to understand what would work. So I basically have built my whole business around like that one client. They gave me all the practice I needed. And still, even when I kind of started this company up this year or last year, I still wasn't charging them really anything. I didn't really ask for any money back from them. It's kind of like Gary Vee always calls it. If you provide information from people want your service. So it's like jab, 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 right hook. So it's like jab, jab, jab is giving information, free, free, free. And then right hook is coming back and asking for the money or asking for their commitment to have your service. So it was a lot of jabs with Sparks Go Wild. It was just jab, 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 jab. I never right hooked them ever. I just did whatever they needed, and I didn't mind doing it. One, because they were personally close friends of mine that I cared about. And two, they were helping me learn how to be a marketing, be into marketing, like how I helped them market, how I helped them market on social media, giving them ideas. I built them a whole entire website. And that was all just like what I consider like trial and error for me. Or it was like what I was getting wasn't pay. I was getting, first of all, satisfaction of helping a close friend. And two, I was getting the knowledge to kind of practice on a customer. So they were kind of like my practice. Like I was practicing with them, and that was it, man. I mean, I just buckled down and I stayed very, very focused. And I just knew that I did not want to go back to selling cars. I knew it in my heart. I was like, there's just no way. I remember like after I was laid off for like a month, I don't remember, like got COVID started like March 15th, like somewhere like a month later, they allowed people to go back into the dealerships and work. And I had to go back in there because I had a couple of customers I still had to deliver cars to, and a couple deals and paperwork to kind of sort out. I just remember when I walked back in that dealership, had that stupid mask on. I just remember as soon as I walked in there, it's going, oh man, I just can't believe I'm here right now. Like, there's just no way I can fucking do this. There's no way. And I just knew it in my heart. And I finished out the couple things I had to do, went up to the owner and said, hey, listen, I just appreciate everything you've done for me here, but I'm out of here. And I think they kind of knew it. Like they could feel that my heart wasn't in it for the last like time that I was there. So that was it, man. I came home, told the wife, I go, all right, so I quit my job and like this is it. And I just started hustling, you guys. Like, I just stayed focused on what I wanted to do and kept watching as much things as I needed to learn, to execute. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, YouTube, the platform of YouTube to learn something, it's massive. Just to month ago, I needed to change a seal on my dishwasher. I tried to buy the dishwasher seal. I like couldn't get it figured out. YouTube video, boom, fix the seal in 10 minutes. So don't think that you need to have a college degree or go to school or like learn from books and things like that. I mean, like the internet is so big, you guys, that really anything you want to learn in the world, it's right at your fingertips. I'm not telling anyone to not go to college or stay in school. I'm just trying to say that it's not completely necessary to be successful for you to like further your actual like education as far as inside of a school or a college or whatever. I mean, the education can come from a lot of people have built businesses from educating themselves just from the streets or whatever the case is. So I buckled down. I set everything up properly. Got my business ID through the state of Michigan. Got all that set up. I had already had a business bank account, so I kind of switched things over, set that up, and some business cards, and I built a website for myself. So I looked more professional, and I just started hustling it up, man. I started getting a hold of people that I knew, and I'd watch on Facebook. People on Facebook post stuff. Actually, just today, I was on Facebook. Someone posted, "Hey, does anyone want to make a business logo?" Boom, there you go. So now I have that customer. Like, dude, I just responded back and said, "Yeah, I can do it." I sent him a couple different, portfolio stuff of logos that I'd done. And he's like, "Man, love it. This is what a company I got, da, da, da." So like the business, I mean, it's right in front of your face, like things for you to do. Like it's right there. All I did is just open Facebook this morning and there's a guy asking for someone to build him a company logo. And I just responded back to him and said, "Hey, listen, I can do it." So you got to stay focused. Obviously you need to learn your craft, right? Which I did. I studied it, consumed it, found out about it, and just stayed focused, right? So everyone's kind of like sitting around right now. There's so many people, you guys, that don't have jobs right now. Um, and there's a skill that they're good at that, they don't realize. I gave this analogy to a friend of mine. He's like, "I just don't get it," right? And he's like, "I mean, people are losing their jobs and, how can you kind of gloat on how good 2020 was for you?" And he kind of thought maybe what I was doing was like offensive, stating that like 2020 has been my best year. But I'm not gloating. I'm just trying to get you guys to realize that if there's something that you do well, you can execute it. My example to him was, so you have a bartender or a waitress. She's got 2 kids. She's laid off. She can't work, right? She's not able to work and she's barely getting by. But maybe this bartender or waitress is really good at drawing portraits of people, right? Maybe she's always been good at it since she was a little kid, drawing portraits of people. It's what she does in her free time, or she's got a sketchbook that she's always had since high school, So what if that lady, that waitress that's out of work, jumps on Facebook, finds a really cool picture of someone's child and sketches out a picture of their child, right? It's what she does for fun. Anyway, it's fun for her. And then she takes the sketch, takes a picture of it, and sends it over to the person's messenger and said, "Hey, I happen to sketch this picture out of your kid. Are you interested? I sell these for $25, $30, $10. I don't care what the amount is. Say it's $25. Well, if someone sketches a really cool picture of my kid and then sends it to me in Messenger, and it's literally an amazing work, and they're like, "Hey, would you like to buy this for $25? Like, who's going to say no? Who doesn't want a really cool sketch of their child, right? I mean, so all this lady has to do is sketch that out, send it in Messenger, throw it in a frame, mail it out, $25. Okay, well, maybe you sketch 4 of those a week. Maybe you find 4 people to sketch a week. That's $100. That's $400 a month that she didn't have. Rather than just sitting at home bitching and complaining because she didn't get a job because the waitress or, the bar or the restaurant she works at's closed. So that's just one example of what someone can do. Maybe there's someone out there that's watching this video right now and goes, "Wow, I'm fucking great at drawing. I draw excellent. Like I draw so much stuff. I'm great at it." Never really thought about being a career because, I mean, let's think, a lot of people, like, drawing doesn't really get you far as a career, especially in the past it doesn't. I mean, unless you're going to be a cartoon artist or build your own comic book. But now find a way that you can execute what you love and turn it into a business or turn it into a job. It's very easy to, if you get focused and you stay on track of what you want to do. It's something that can be done, you guys. It's so possible to do that. So I had already had all the equipment, you know what I mean? Not equipment, but I had a MacBook Pro. I had a professional camera, so I had some stuff already kind of gathered up that I didn't have to go out and buy. But in general, the company that I decided to start, which is this media company, it it didn't cost me a lot of money because I didn't necessarily I can work from home. I do have a little office that I rent. Um, that I address my business to when I come here and work. That's where this podcast studio is. But I don't necessarily have to have this office. I mean, I can completely work from home, right? So I don't have to pay lights and buildings and things like that. So if you don't have money to start a business, because listen, if your aspiration is that you're a professional cook and you want to own your own restaurant, well, this plan may not work for you. I mean, you can't just go out and buy a restaurant and cooks and things like that. But you might be able to start like a cooking channel, like right from your house. Like maybe you're really good at cooking. Maybe your aspiration is to open your own restaurant one day. So you're listening to this video right now going, well, yeah, I want to open a restaurant. How am I going to do that? I got no money. Okay. Do you got a cell phone right here? Okay. Set your cell phone up on a tripod and start cooking on your stove and showing people the best recipe, the best way that you cook a steak, Start posting it on social media. Start posting it and showing it and posting it and showing it. Then maybe one day you'll be on social media going, hey, listen, I'm looking for someone to cater a party for me. Oh, really? Oh, well, listen, hey, my name's John. I cook. I can cater your party for you. Boom, there's your first job. There, you're on your way to owning your own restaurant. You guys got to think this stuff through correctly and execute it to where you can turn something into a business. So I'm just telling you for 2021, like if you have an idea or you have something you want to do, execute it, think it through, follow through, and it can happen. So am I making more money with this media company than I made selling cars? I'll be honest with you, I'm not. I do have a little bit of a different position, than most, but what I want to consider to be successful is it's not necessarily how much money you have or all the things that you have, because you can have all that and be miserable. But it's like, are you excited to get up in the morning and start work or start what you do for a living? If that's the case, I consider that success, right? So I'm building myself to another point to start making as much money as I did prior, but I still probably made more doing this than I would have just sitting around complaining and collecting unemployment. Period. Right? If I would have just sat around, complained, collect unemployment, I wouldn't have made also the money on top of what I'm doing now. And I'm happy. I'm not miserable. I'm not like literally going, this sucks. I got to go to work. Like that's gone, right? It's so much more satisfying. So start this media company. The key points are I watched Gary Vaynerchuk. If you guys don't know who he is, Google him now. I'll put his link in this video so you know who he is. Work for free. I know it sounds crazy, but I did a lot of work for free, a lot of work, right? And then I do that work for free. It proves to people my skill and it allows me to build a portfolio. And then when you've done so much work for free, those people that you did that work for free from, they'll start to realize that you have some worth and they'll start to want to pay you. Or if you shy away from them, they're going to be like, wait, I need you to come back. And then that's when you do jab. That's when you right hook and you go, hey, listen, I appreciate you helping me, do some of the stuff for free so I could learn it, but I got to start making an income right now so I can continue to run your website, but I can't do it for free. I can do it for $1,000 a month, whatever it is. If you've done enough great work for them, they're going to see that value and they're going to be like, all right, you're in. Fine, I'll pay you $1,000. I can't have you leave me. So I did a lot of stuff for free. And that's not the best way to really start any business, but it really started mine. You know what I mean? I just did as much stuff as I could for people. And in that process, I was helping people too. So it like gives you a good sensation of like being a good person, right? When you're helping somebody out, it gives you a satisfaction that you don't necessarily get. And it just worked for me. So that's what I did to start my own media company, and I've been very successful at it. I'm not by any means in this past 9 months became a millionaire, but I've been able to pay my bills, have income, help, contribute to my family, buy nicer things or things that I need and not just sit around and be dead flat fucking broke, right? That's it, So be persistent, stay on top of your dreams, do things that excite you. Try to find something that you have a passion in and you can execute it to a business. You guys, I'm talking about anything you have a passion in, you can execute it to a business. I don't care if your passion is smoking pot, right? Well, start, showing people how to roll joint. I don't care what it is, right? If your passion is, cooking, start a little cooking channel. Whatever it is, you can execute it. You can find out something that you do, someone else sees as valuable, and they will pay for that information if the information is knowledgeable and correct. So anything that you guys got going on out there, go ahead and give it a try. Don't be afraid, to even fail. Like if we don't fail, we'll never succeed. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, that's just a little quick video I want to do for 2021. I got another podcast episode coming up. So the first podcast episode I didn't really air yet. I don't know. I wasn't real excited about it and how it kind of looked and drafted out. So still debating on if I'll post it. I probably will, but I got another podcast coming out. We're going to be doing a podcast with Sparks Go Wild. He's the owner and creator of a company called Sparks Go Wild. They live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I help manage them, and I do all their social media, website development, and they've blew up in 2020. So I'm going to have him on the podcast, kind of do a little entrepreneur. These first few podcasts were about people that kind of excelled in 2020 and were able to get things going, get businesses going, and be successful. So that should be coming in probably about 1 week. There's a lot of different stuff I want to do. So this channel is going to kind of get mixed up a little bit here and there, but I'm just going to try to keep persistently posting videos. I have a full, huge, gigantic 223 subscribers. So when I'm speaking in this camera, I'm not talking to a lot of people, but if you keep making videos, you'll get more subscribers. So I had 199 subscribers before I did my last 2 videos. And then that I hadn't posted a video in like 2.5 years. So I gained 24 subscribers in 2 months. So if I post a video and I keep getting 23, 24, 25, right, it starts to double. So if you're not persistent and dropping videos, you'll never gain subscribers. I'm not necessarily caring so much about subscribers now that I'm just kind of doing something I love, because it takes a long time before this platform starts paying you. So none of these videos or anything I put out is for me to try to get income from YouTube. It's just for me to provide information to people and really just voice how I feel. It feels good to talk into this camera. If you guys are afraid of talking to the camera, just a couple quick tips too. One is if you just kind of like hit the button on Facebook Live and just go for it. I know it sounds crazy, but it like helps. It's because you're live. There's nothing you can change about it. So I've noticed that's helped a little bit too. Another thing that's really weird for me is this microphone setting and the way I sit right here. It helps me be able to speak into this camera rather than like, I'm not super good at vlogging. I still have that kind of leeriness about doing it or uncomfortability. So that's another thing I'm trying to break for 2021 is to not shy away or be afraid of the camera. So just a couple of tips on what you can do if you want to start a YouTube channel and you're kind of nervous about doing it. And another thing too, keep in mind, you can record yourself 1,000,000 times a day. You don't have to actually post the footage anywhere. Just keep it in your phone for the rest of your life until you start to feel comfortable about what you're seeing on the camera, what you're seeing on the screen. When you get to that point, then you can get to a point where you start to post. If it's just you by yourself in a room with a camera, well, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just you. It's just you. There's no one criticizing you, and you don't even have to post it. Start gathering up a bunch of footage of stuff you do, and it will help you get away from that fear of speaking to the camera, because a lot of people have it, and it is hard, right? It is hard to actually project and look into this camera and speak properly. But get over that fear. You guys just start doing it. Just start doing the things you love. Start taking a passion and seeing if you can turn it into a business. Basically, I build websites. I do graphic design, logo design, social media posts, Facebook pages, Google business pages. So those are some of the things that I do in my company. So if you guys need any help, or you want some advice, or you're looking to hire somebody, go ahead and send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to share any advice with you for free and help you out as much as I can. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe if you watch this video. Hit the like button. It does make a difference. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.